Hey everyone, this is Jessica of Into the Warren. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm coming to you from Central Florida, and it is actually a chilly day today. It is in the 60s. Yep, that's chilly for us. And I think it's going to be the high of like maybe 76, 78, something like that, and then it's going to get hot all over again. So I thought I would take advantage of this cooler day and wear my Love Note sweater that I haven't worn in a little bit. It's just been sitting in my closet while I admire it. And I know that I said that my next video would be yarn dyeing, but I'm not ready to yarn dye yet because I don't have my yarn and I don't have my dye. So it's kind of hard to yarn dye without that. But I will say that it's kind of changed a little bit. So initially I was going to dye with food coloring and Kool-Aid because it is safe and safer, and you don't need as many precautions. You can use the same equipment that you do in your kitchen and that kind of thing. And I was going to go that route, but I have changed my mind and I have decided that if I'm going to dye yarn, I would like more options, and I want to make sure that the color that I use in my yarns is, sorry, I have something in my eye, more long lasting and is meant for fiber so that it won't fade over time as badly. So I took the plunge and I did order some acid dyes that are meant for yarn and other fiber. I ordered them from the Dharma Trading Company, but they are a little bit behind because of this pandemic and social distancing, requirements and things like that. So they're a little behind by a few days. So they haven't even shipped my dyes yet, even though I ordered them last week sometime, which is fine because they let you know ahead of time. And I know that they've got the order and everything. So I ordered, I want to say 15 dyes of different colors. I actually have ideas in mind of what I want to make. And so I just got the colors that I needed. And I'll tell you, one of my ideas is to make a dye that is named after Brooke. And her favorite color is yellow. She is totally obsessed with yellow. She has to hold things that are the color yellow all the time. She kisses anything that's yellow. She's just obsessed with yellow. And I'm not really a yellow person, but I want to make a colorway for her that involves yellow and some flamingo pink, because we have a pink flamingo in our yard because we're a Florida house, and she'll get out in the morning and she'll kiss the flamingo in the yard. So I want to put some flamingo color in there, and I might put a little bit of a bluish teal because she has the brightest, bluest eyes I've ever seen in my life. She's so beautiful and amazing. So I want to make something a really cool yarn colorway in honor of her. And then her birthday's in June, so I was thinking maybe I should use some of the yarn that I make for her, write down the recipe so I can replicate it in the future if I want to sell that colorway or redo it. But I also want to maybe make her something in her own yarn colorway. So that's the initial plan. I think that'll be the first thing I do when I get my yarn dyeing supplies. Now my bare yarn is coming today. They told me that it will arrive. It's on the truck to be delivered. So I have some skeins of superwash merino DK weight and superwash merino in Worcester weight. So I'm just waiting for those. But obviously I can't dye them even if they come today because I don't have dye. So I will, my posture is so bad today. I will film a video of me making my first colorway with the bare yarn, the Brooke colorway. I will film all of that step by step, and you can kind of experience what I experience. I'm trying not to set myself high expectations because, you don't, when you're new to dyeing, and even if you are experienced, things happen. Dyes behave in ways you might not totally expect. So I'm keeping an open mind. What happens, happens, and I know it'll be beautiful anyway. So we're gonna give that a try when all of those supplies come in. But today I wanted to share a few things with you. I have acquired some more yarn, surprise, surprise. And I acquired some other things, so I want to share that. And I have one whip to share. So I did go to Michael's today to get some additional materials that I need for dyeing, and that includes 3 packages of these squeeze bottles so that I can pour some of the dye stock into these squeeze bottles so I can just easily apply the dye solution into the pot. And it's just a way to use it. It's an application of the dye. And I'm not going to pick it up, but I have 12 mason jar pack to store my dye stock. And if you don't know what dye stock is, it's basically where you mix water and acid dyes together really well, and you put labels on them, and then when you're ready to use them, you've already got the dye and water ratios already done. And typically it's a 1% ratio, so I think I'm just going to do 1% dye stock of all colors. So I got the cans ready, the jars ready, so when they come in, I can put my mask on, put my gloves on, if I can find gloves. It's really hard to find gloves right now. Might have to use plastic bags. And start to weigh the acid dye and measure the water and mix them all together and label them so they are ready to go for dyeing. It's kind of a long process to dye yarn. I mean, if you get prepared and prepped and all that, then it's faster, but you have to have a good amount of prep time. Okay, so I went to Michael's to get those supplies that I had already ordered ahead of time, but I was really like the only one in the store besides employees because I went when it first opened this morning. And so I kind of browsed for a second and I purchased a couple things. I got US 1 double pointed needles, these metal ones, the Loops and Threads brand, and a US 2 double pointed needle pack. I got these because I am considering, not like I have enough, don't have enough to do already, I'm considering trying to my first pair of socks. And I have a book about vintage socks, like vintage patterns, and it looks like the majority is a US 1 size needle for them, but I got a 2 just as backup because I also got 3 skeins of this Patton's Croy socks. It is 75% wool and 25% nylon, which from what I've heard is a pretty good blend for a sock. It's pretty durable. And so I got 3 of those because I really honestly have never made socks before and I don't know how much yarn you typically need. So I got 3 of them because they were on clearance for like $2.97. And it's in the color flax. Thought it was a nice neutral color. And I am thinking about maybe trying my hand at some socks, because I've seen some knit socks that are really cool. So I'll give that a go, and I've kind of figured out German short rows. Like, I'm pretty good at them right now. I used to be scared of them. They're easier than they look, or that you think they are. And now I'm less intimidated to do German short rows. So those are what I acquired at Michael's. And my hipster shawl that I showed you in my last video that was finished, it was 100% cotton, and it's, I didn't block it because I didn't think it was important to block 100% cotton, because 100% cotton doesn't have hardly any stretch whatsoever, and there wasn't really any lace or anything in it. So I was like, I don't think I need to block it, wash and block it. I don't think that's necessary. Well, there was a live stream of the Genuine Pearl yarn shop. I know I talk about them a lot because I'm lonely and I talk to yarn shops. She was demonstrating a bind off method for the hipster shawl, and she was talking about blocking, and she said, I block everything. And I asked her, I said, do you block 100% cotton? And she said, absolutely, it makes a huge difference. And so I was like, okay. So I washed and blocked my hipster shawl, and I am so glad I did. Number one, there was dye bleeding, like blue-green came out when I washed it. And so I'm glad I did that, because what if I throw it in the washer one day, you know, and dye everything blue? And when it dried, it like looks excellent. I mean, the X stitches are so clear now. It's a little weird in the camera, but I'm just like, maybe you don't even know a difference like on camera, and that's, you know. But if you saw it in person compared to how it was, it definitely made a difference. It really did. I mean, and it smells good. So I am very glad I blocked it. I just wanted to show you that, yes, I blocked it, and it just made a world of difference. So moral of the story is, block everything that you make. That's my opinion now. So look at how beautiful the arrows look now that they're all flattened out and stretched out. It looks great. So extremely glad that I did that. Of course, I'm on the couch in my living room, and the couch is where my dog hangs out, so now it's gonna be a blocked shawl with dog fur. So that's fine. Okay, next thing, so a few videos ago I talked about ordering some yarn from a farm. The name of the farm is called Sawkill Farm, and it is in the Hudson River Valley in New York State. The town is Red Hook, New York, and it is a small farm. I've never been there in person, but it seems to me like it's like a market where you can go and buy some food from the farm, and also they make yarn out of the wool from their own sheep. And sorry, I have dust up my nose. I learned about them from a podcaster called The Gentle Knitter. She lives in Canada, and she works at the Natural History Museum, which is super cool. And I really like her knitted items. And she's very particular about what kind of yarn she uses, and it's usually very natural wools, local. I mean, she just got good quality yarn. And she showed a Sawkill Farm hank of yarn, and it was beautiful, and I was like, let me go check that out. So I did, and I went a little crazy, but I bought yarn in 2 colors, enough for 2 sweaters worth. The first color that I got is this color, and it is Rhode Island Red. And I have said I am not a red person, but this is a pretty red, and it is a 3-weight DK yarn. It is single ply, meaning there is only 1 ply, as you can see there, and it is 50% Sawkill Farm wool and 50% domestic merino, and it is hand spun. It was hand spun in Vermont, and you hand wash only in tepid water with a mild soap and lay flat to dry. I got 4 of those. Look at how pretty the labels are. I got 4 hanks of the Rhode Island Red. Okay, this is the first time that I have ever bought or used hand spun yarn. When I opened, like, they have this beautiful box, and when I opened it and saw all the yarn lined up in it, I was like gonna cry, because it was so pretty and like special. I'm from New York State, upstate New York, like upstate, not like Buffalo, but like Adirondacks. And I miss it so much. I miss being in the North so very much. And I haven't been there in, I mean, I've been to New York to visit, but I haven't like lived there since I was 17, and I'm 34 this year. So it's been a long time. And I miss it a lot. And when I got this yarn from the place that I'm from, it felt even more special to me. Also, this yarn is like, I mean, like, there was a lot of work that was put into this, like work from people's hands. And that also is really special. There is actually like little pieces of hay, like when you're knitting with this, hay, you can find little pieces of hay once in a while. Also, it doesn't smell bad at all. I'm not saying it smells bad, but it smells like hay. It smells like you're at the farm. Not in like a yucky way, but like you're at the pumpkin patch. I love it. Like, I'm so in love with this yarn, and it's like delicate. Like if you took this yarn and you pulled it, it would break, but when you knit it, it's like gives it that strength back. This yarn is so cool. These four are going to make, I'm almost positive, my firefly sweater pattern. And then the other color I got is called Squashed Peach. This color is awesome, and these colors together are also awesome. Like, that would be a really cool sweater together. But I'm doing two separate sweaters. So this is the other kind, same base, same consistency, and I am in love. And I am only showing you two because have already used 1 and 1.5. So with the Squash Peach, I have been making, I think it's called, I don't have it with me, the Trujillo jumper. I think the J is a hay. Trujillo jumper. It's basically a pullover sweater, like a simple raglan pullover sweater. But I don't think this yarn needs anything too fancy because it's a special yarn as it is. So I have started this sweater. It starts with a garter stitch, and you use German short rows to make the back taller than the front. Now keep in mind, this is hand spun wool, and it's gonna be kind of floppy and weird until I wash it and I block it. But I am almost to the point where I can separate the sleeves from the body. So it doesn't look like much of a sweater right now, but once I do, I think it's, I want to say 8 more rows of this, of these increases in the shoulders, then, I'm sorry for my nails again, then I can separate the sleeves and work the body part. But this is like way up here. This is gonna be so pretty. Now, I would be lying if I said that this yarn was soft. It's not really, it's got that wool feeling. I wouldn't call it itchy. I would just call it, it's not soft. It's got more of a texture to it. From the description, it says once you block it, it really blossoms out. If I find that it might still be a little rough after I have that yarn soak, I might add a little bit of conditioner and let it soak just to soften up the sweater a little bit, the yarn. But like, this sweater is so special. I love it so much. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on. I'm trying to desperately get to the sleeves, because then you put the sleeves on like scrap yarn, and then you have a lot less stitches to do in the round because you've taken all the sleeve stitches off, and it's just, you know, fast after that. So I like, look, and you can see the thread is hand spun, so the yarn is hand spun, so like there's spots where the yarn is thinner and then spots where it's thicker, so you can see in the texture, you know. But when it blocks, I'm sure it'll look a little different. I love it. It's so rustic. I love it. And you get you get 300 yards per hank, so that's a lot. So I love that. Sawkill Farms, if you're interested. They have other yarns. They have worsted weight yarn. They have yarn with several ply, if you want to try something else. And the last yarn acquisition I have here is, there is a pattern, I think it's by Andrea Mowry, who's, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of maybe. She's got some beautiful patterns, and she has a raglan sweater in a worsted weight or Aran weight yarn, and I want to make that as well. And I wanted it to be soft and snuggly, and I wanted it to be in like a grayish bluish, grayish green color. So I was looking at the Berroco yarn online, and I had heard of it before because I have 2 skeins of Berroco yarn made out of recycled materials actually. And the Berroco vintage colors I thought were really pretty, and so you're gonna hear the air conditioning turn on, sorry. And so I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what it was like. So I called up good old Genuine Pearl. Well, I messaged her and I said, do you have the Berroco vintage? And she took pictures of all the colors she had, and I fell in love with this beautiful blue gray, slightly green, it's actually a little more green than you see on camera, Berroco vintage yarn. It is in the color, I want to say it's like robin egg. Doesn't say on here, but on the website I think it's called like bird's egg or robin's egg or something like that, but the color number is 5136. And I got a sweater's worth of yarn. And you know what, this yarn wasn't too bad. This was $9 a piece. Oh my gosh, this yarn is really soft. Like, I highly recommend. I mean, I haven't used it in knitting yet, but I recommend as far as like the softness of it. Now, it is made out of 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. Machine wash inside out in cold water. Lay flat to dry. It's a weight of 4, and it has 218 yards per hank. So, Berroco vintage, and they have other lines of Berroco. They have tons of different colors and different shades. I mean, they really do have a wide variety. They have lots of different consistencies and materials used. They have a cotton line that looks really nice. So again, I think this is going to be a beautiful sweater as well. Very like light. It's light. It's airy. I don't know how to describe it other than it's kind of just, it's very lightweight, and I think it will be comfortable to wear. I mean, this is silk and wool, and this is soft, but this is also very soft. Pretty similar. So I got those. I'm starting to put things in bags because I have so much yarn. And I also got a bunch of patterns from the yarn shop who mailed me this beautiful yarn. I don't want to show you the pattern, but I got this beautiful little, what is it, a cloak kind of thing. It's really pretty. She just did this out of the kindness of her heart and gave me some of these. There's a blanket. This sweater's really pretty. Yeah, she just tore off a bunch of these patterns. Another nice sweater. Cardigan. I do want to make a cardigan eventually. I just have too much going on. This is like a cotton wrap This is really pretty. This would be a good like sweater in the summer because it's very holey if you use like a cotton for it. And a cable sweater, and this is a little shawl, and this little wrap here. So she gave me a bunch of patterns, so that was very nice. And I think that is it that I have to show you. I'm going to try to get going on my sweater and get it moving along and get the arms separated from the body. Like, that's my goal. Get through to that part of the separation, because it's always the exciting part. Like, the bulk of the sweater is like done when you get to that point. So that's what I'm gonna work on. But yeah, I can't wait to do some yarn dyeing. I'm excited about filming it for you and editing it and making it cool and interesting for you guys, hopefully. And if you are thinking about yarn dyeing, then you can like go on the adventure with me and watch me be the weirdo and make mistakes so you don't make the same mistakes. So yeah, that will be the next video, I'm almost positive, if the yarn dyes get here. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe so that you know when the next video comes out. And please leave a comment, your thoughts. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions. And I hope you guys are staying safe and having a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.